Hello everybody, hope you've been doing well. Sorry it's been a long time since my last video. I think it's been about a week or so. I've just kind of been busy and there's really not as much content I think on and stuff. I think people are really starting to get better at understanding the mechanics of the game and stuff. So while I hope that these videos continue to be useful to you, I assume that most of you guys have a lot of this stuff figured out, but I enjoy making them, and like I've said, I've gotten a lot of good feedback, so I'll go ahead and keep making them for now. So this one, we just got the Lenna, scroll through here, event. So kind of mixed emotions on this one. It's got a lot of stuff that you can exchange for, a lot of good stuff. I think Diamond Mace, if you've gotten, I think that was a reward for one dungeon, or if you've pulled some and you want a 5-star, it might be worth buying one or two. I think I already got a few in my pulls. Luminous Rove, can't really hurt. I wouldn't recommend Power Wrist or Silver Glasses. Hyper Wrist, you'll get a lot more Hyper Wrists later anyway, so it's up to you. If you want to spend the 1500, it's not a bad investment, but you get a lot of them later. You get a lot of plus attack damage items later. Most of the other ones, I wouldn't worry about any of the accessories really, unless, like I said, you want the Hyper Wrist. Other than that, none of them, you don't really need them. And of course, orbs. So what separates this from the Eris event was one run in the Eris event could get you about, I think it was about 3,500 magicite shards. This one is a lot less. So for, I think it's 50 stamina, around 50 stamina, you'll get maybe anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500, depending on, how frequently they drop. With Eris, it was about 3,500 for 70. So, we're looking at probably somewhere between 1/2 and 1/3 of what we were getting for Eris. And one 4-star orb was 3,000. These are 3,500. So this event, actually, we're going to get a lot less bang for our buck in terms of exchange rates. So, this is kind of, I think Eris, it was definitely, I think it was no question, it was a good idea to farm as much as possible to get the 4-star orbs and things like that. But this one, I think, is more up in the air. If you prefer Lady Luck and you prefer to gamble more, you can farm, bosses for greater orbs. You could get lucky. I've seen people, I got 3 out of 4. You could get really lucky and go on a hot streak. Or I've seen, somebody said they did 100 runs and only got 3. So it's, really up to you guys. This is going to have less exchange rates compared to Eris, but you get to pick exactly the orbs you want. So if you're 2 or 3 short of honing Quake or making Protect Ga or some new ability that might come out soon, you can go ahead and save up. I would go ahead and save up unless you're really itching to make something. You don't really need any new abilities for this event. It's very, very easy, especially if you've honed a lot of ice abilities for the T-Rex and the Renoa one, you're completely set. But getting back to this, I plan on just probably farming this because I can get exactly the orbs I want, and I can kind of assess, which orbs I need. And I'd rather not leave stuff to chance, especially after my relic pulls, which I'll get to in a second. I know people have asked me, so what are you saving for? And why do you have so many mithril? Well, you can see I have none now. I blew all my mithril. I'll get to that in a sec, but these major orbs, it's a lot to invest in. I personally am not interested in farming for these. I think this would be more for completists who really, really want to get 5-star abilities as soon as possible. In the Japanese version, I have enough orbs for Bahamut and Meteor and some of these 5-star abilities, but I haven't even bothered crafting them because the damage cap hasn't been raised yet. So it would be a colossal waste, in my opinion, of 5-star orbs. I'd rather wait until either they raise the damage limit or implement more useful abilities. Like I have made full break, which is all the basic breaks combined into one, and it stacks with high breakdowns, so you can stack double breaks like that. It's very useful, but that's the only one I bothered making, and it's not even that useful. So again, this is really, I think it's really a personal preference. I think with Eris, it was like I said, no doubt I said you should definitely farm it, but this one, I leave that to you guys. If you'd rather take a chance and you'd rather farm bosses, go for it. I personally am going to stick with this event. I'll probably change it up because you want to kill yourself because it's just drives you nuts because it's just repetitive. But really, it's hard to find better ways to farm a lot of this stuff. So getting to relics. So I'm sure most of you guys have noticed that Tyro's Sentinel Grimoire is out, as well as his Healing Grimoire, which is not bad, and Cyan's Sword, and Joseph's Gloves. Now, the Healing Grimoire, the downside to it, of course, is you need 2 soul gauges to cast it once, but the healing, it's a lot. Like, it would pretty much refill your whole party. This is not bad as a friend summon or anything like, something like that. It's nice to have an AoE heal when we get, my previous video you have seen where you can actually learn and acquire abilities. That'll be nice. So you can go ahead and learn his Healing Grimoire and his Sentinel Grimoire and then give him something else. But I mean, the stats on these are phenomenal. I mean, just high attack, high magic, high mind. I mean, it's really just an amazing weapon. And I spent all of my mithril, probably about 200 mithril. So I think I did maybe 4. I think I did 4, not quite 4, 11 pulls. And I've been doing single pulls, and I probably will do single pulls throughout the rest of the event. So I'll show you what I got, where I'll just do my inventory. So I got trolled. I did not want this at all. I got Joseph's Gloves. Now, the damage is not bad. Joseph is a strong attacker, but this soul break is completely worthless. It's the only upside to it is it's I think the highest damage boosting ability in the game. I looked around, on a lot of Japanese sites trying to see can you use this in some way, right? Because I wanted to see, can I try to incorporate this somehow? But it's about a 2.0. It's about a double attack buff. The problem is Joseph, his attack is so high, you have to lose his attack just to buff everybody else's, and chances are you're not going to go with an all bruiser team anyway. It's really unfortunate. I mean, in a Final Fantasy II realm, or even just if I don't have realm synergy, this may be a higher attack weapon to equip. So I think it'll have its uses, but I was disappointed to get this. You can say I didn't get either of the grimoires, which was exactly what I was saving for. Again, it's disappointing, but that's part of the game. I did get a lot of Final Fantasy 12 rods and Final Fantasy 4 rods. I did get I did get a Judgment Staff, which I'm not really impressed by. There are a lot of Final Fantasy V dungeons. I think I mean, obviously it's good for a healer, but what I'm concerned with is you can say I don't have a lot of really high damage weapons or relics. My concern with this is if you guys have played through the elite dungeons and stuff, if you've played through the new content, you know that there was the battle with Odin where he casts Doom on your entire party. There's actually quite a few battles like that later. There's several of those fights in Final Fantasy 13 dungeons, and then you have demon walls, basically that come closer and closer and closer, and then eventually it's instant KO your entire party. So it's basically the same concept, except you can slow them down, which gives you more time and stuff like that. But there's a lot of these bosses where you have to burst the boss down before you die, before you get wiped out, and I'm kind of concerned about whether or not I'll be able to do that, because I don't have any, like, some of them are very, very difficult, even with my like, I have, in the Japanese version, I have Lightning's weapon, which is extremely useful. I have Cloud's Buster Sword. I have Selphie's AoE heal. I have even Red 13's Lunatic High. I have several good character-specific relics, and even a lot of those battles I really struggle. I really have to get, like, just the right combination of skills and abilities and people to be able to clear that. I'm kind of concerned that these bad pulls are going to hurt me in the long run, because, in Japan also we get a lot more mithril. So if you get a bad pull, or you don't really get, the item you're looking for in an 11 pull in Japan, it doesn't hurt as bad because you get a lot more mithril. Here, we're getting content faster, and, we're not getting as much mithril. Now, we do have the mid-May mithril mayhem or whatever going down. Now, that's pretty much what it's like all the time in Japan. Like, we've had about 2 or 3 straight months of daily login mithril on top of the other daily login bonuses. So, just that alone, that's over another, pull and a half or so. So I am a bit concerned, but, I'm looking at it as, a challenge. Can I clear the content that I've cleared before with better stuff? Can I, hone the right abilities with my knowledge that I've acquired, through playing the Japanese version? Can I avoid some mistakes that made things more difficult for me in the first way through? I did get some decent 4-star weapons, though, so it's not a complete loss. Maneater is, especially if you can get a couple of these, it's actually a really, really good, it's not character specific, but it'll do a lot of damage if you can get a couple of those. What else did I get? I did get a crystal sword, so very high attack, which is nice. This was really nice, a warrior sword. This really helped me get through a lot of the Final Fantasy X elites. I just put it on Cloud and used retaliate, and it worked really well. Which, speaking of which, I'll probably use retaliate with a lot of mages for the time being, because without very, very high attack weapons, I think it's better to go with magic than with bruisers. So basically, if you're in the same boat as me and you try to get some really strong, weapons, and you didn't really get a whole lot, or you didn't get really what you were looking for, something that you can use, like Cloud's Buster Sword, you can use pretty much any dungeon, any realm. It's good, it's solid. But if you're like me and you're kind of like, crap, a lot of these ones that I got in the pulls anyway, they're not really high magic, and they're all Final Fantasy 12 for whatever reason. The multipliers and the damage that you can put out for magic, especially, with higher magic spells like Aga spells and Aja spells, it's going to be a lot higher than for a lot of just straight up melee abilities. So what I would invite you guys to explore is investing more. Like I said, if you're free to play and you haven't got a lot of good pulls, I think it would be worth, for now, until you do get kind of a game changer pull, because none of this is game changing. Until you get a game changing pull, I'd really recommend to try to focus more on heavy magic users and try to do a lot of nuking with, a retaliator, one frontliner. That'll make it easier on you, so you don't have to take as much damage, because you don't have as good of gear and things like that. So you can put more people in the back row. You can keep one person in the front row, and you can actually get, squeeze as much DPS out of your team as possible by using spells instead of relying more on weapons. And synergizing your weapons is going to be really important too. I did get a nice giant's axe, so some of these, and a Nodachi. So I do have, some decent 4-star weapons. But again, honestly, just disappointed. But like I said, this is part of the game, and it is part of the challenge. And I didn't get what I wanted, but that's kind of how it goes sometimes. So you got to roll with it. And I did mention retaliate. I did want to mention to you guys, because I've seen people, particularly in retaliate seems to have this negative image about it. It's kind of clumped together with exploits and bugs and stuff like that. And it's been out in Japan for 6 months or 7 months, and it's never got fixed. So I was curious. I thought, well, is this really a bug? Because I looked around on Japanese sites, and everybody seemed to agree this is a bug and that it would get fixed. And oh, you guys are gonna be screwed when you don't have retaliate anymore. So I emailed the team and I asked them, and you can see here what I have highlighted. They said the reported function is as intended. So they actually designed retaliate to be able to proc it using allied attacks. I don't know if that includes double cut, but I assume that they are aware of that and that they're not going to change it if it was designed to be able to be used with procced allied attacks. So for those of you who use it and rely on it, it's completely legitimate. If people, say it's cheap and that you shouldn't use it, that's fine. That's their, preference not to use it. But, it's completely legitimate. That's how they designed it. You don't have to worry about it or anything like that. I think it's a very, very good skill to rely on. I think, like I said, if you haven't been lucky with your polls, I hope, a lot of you guys have. It does certainly make the game more fun and more interesting. But, like I said, without good relic pulls, I'll kind of see, it'll be a bit more fun for me, even though it is a bit disappointing on the other hand, just because it'll make it more challenging for me, and I'll see, it'll help me really test myself. And that's the fun of the game. So I don't think there's anything else to mention. So the event, like I said, if you have, this is pretty much what I've been clearing it with. I have a coral sword on Cloud, which I just farmed. I have Tyro with an axe. He's kind of just support. But again, just retaliate and all ice spells. I'm sure a lot of you guys have ice spells from the T-Rex fight, which, by the way, I'm going to try to get some orbs farmed up, maybe try to get Quake honed so I can get 4 uses, and then I still haven't done either of the last 2 battles. I still want to try a presidential residence run, but it would be nice to have the summon orb and the non-elemental orb, but again, it's not. If I don't get it, it's not like I wouldn't even use these orbs until months down the road, so it's not like it's a big loss anyway. So if I do try it, I'll go ahead and upload that. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the new content. If you have any requests about specific elite dungeons, I've cleared all the elite dungeons. Some of them were pretty tough, and I'm sure I've seen a lot of people have struggled through quite a few of them. If you have any specific dungeons you'd like me to, walk through, boss fights, or, you just need advice or anything, please, feel free, leave a comment, ask, and I'll try to do, specific videos just for those fights and things like that, or, just maybe a general video discussing the different boss strategies and things like that. So, yeah, enjoy the event, and, good luck in your polls. I hope some of you guys did get the... If you did, congratulations. You have probably, in my opinion, the best relic in the game, and you have tons of potential for mixing it with friends' abilities when they do come out. That's it. Thanks again, guys, for all the input and all the feedback. Very, very kind and positive comments, so hopefully I can keep giving you guys some content to enjoy. Thanks a lot. I'll see you in the next one.